Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy CP, one half of the Who Asked Y'all 2 podcast with me and my brother Dot. Before we get into this week's episode, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you stay up to date with all the content that we have dropping. If you could also make sure you like and comment on the videos as well. We appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead and jump straight into that episode, y'all. Yo. Welcome back. Back for another episode of the Who Asked Y'all 2 podcast. As always, happy to be back recording for the people. I am Chris Porter, back with my good brother and co-host, as always, M. Dot. What's going on with you, brother? How is everything as of today?
Everything's going well, brother. Today I went to go see my little cousin, my like a younger sister to me, my little niece. She she was going to her 8th grade formal, so I came in there, suited and booted, had my probation stuff on. You know what I mean? Came in there, seen her off, and she just looked so beautiful and gorgeous. I was just like, wow, this little girl that I grew up with, a little baby always in my eyes. Now she's like a little young teenager, 14, 15 years old. I'm like, wow, it's just crazy, bro. How time
That's
flies.
dope.
And everybody looking at me. Like my one cousin told me, he said, damn, dude, you got all this great, bro. What you stressed? I said, bro, what do you mean? Like I'm not stressed, but bro, I mean it's just I don't know, maybe I'm graying early. I don't know. We had this conversation already before, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was like, damn, dude, you stressed out. I'm like, bro, I was about to curse. I was like, bro, I'm not stressed. It's just I think I might be graying early. I don't know.
Hey, they come and go, man. They come and go. As long as you're not feeling it, you know what I mean, in terms of the stress and everything, then I wouldn't sweat it. You know what I mean? But
I'm trying not to, but when people be like, yo, you got gray hair, yo, you green, and I'm just like, bro, I'm
bro,
not trying
that's
to
how I
pick a
felt in
body.
high school when people used to tell me in high school that I had gray hair. I'm like, come on, man, leave me alone, yo. Like, get off my back with all that. But nah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. How was she excited for the formal?
Oh yeah, she was super excited, bro. We took pictures. Her mom had everything set up where she had like this little backdrop. You know what I mean? Then her dude came, the guy that was her prom date.
Her date,
You know,
yeah.
so you know how to size him up a little bit. You know, he like
Of
14 years old.
course.
You know what I mean?
That's the role.
You know what I mean? Turn my body a little bit so he can see the firearm. You know what I mean? Badge and all that. So, but no, it was dope, man. They family came. It was a lovely experience, and it's just like, damn, like it's like time just goes in the blink of an eye, man. You
Nah,
don't
you
even
ain't
realize
lying.
10 years just goes just like that, and you're like, wow.
Bro, I think that every single time I look at my nieces, bro, like literally every single time I even look at
Yeah.
my nieces, I'm just like, man, I knew y'all little girls since y'all was like fresh out the womb, for real. Like, and
And
then
that
they,
image, and that image never changes. Like you just see him as that. It don't matter how old they are. You just see him as that young little person.
nah, seriously, man. Well, hopefully she had a good time for sure.
Yeah.
High school's right around the corner, so
Yes. Yeah.
hopefully she's excited for that as well. You know what I mean? Because that's big time for sure. I
Absolutely,
mean,
bro. But what about you, man? I'm over here talking about myself. What about you, my guy?
nah, everything's cool, bro. Everything's cool, man. I already told you. I've been in a transition phase, but I've been feeling good lately, man. Been doing a lot of reflecting and stuff like that, and so just, trying to stay on top of myself, trying to stay accountable for myself at all times and stuff like that. But no, I'm feeling good. Shout out to my cousin Caleb, and his bride. They getting married this coming weekend, Memorial Day
Shout
weekend.
out to them.
So
Shout out to them.
yeah,
Shout out to
congrats
them.
to them. Super excited for the wedding. Uh, yeah, man. Everything is everything. Like, taking everything in stride as always, man. Happy to be alive for real.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
happy to
Facts.
be alive, blessed and feeling good. How's the fast? But before we even get into anything, how's the
Oh,
fast?
yeah. The fasting. I'm still fasting, bro. I still do. I fell off a little bit on my Bible, reading the Bible. But I have to be more disciplined on that. But the fasting, I've been doing that consistently. That hasn't stopped. Like I
Word.
fast every day. I do at least 13 to 16 hours, and it kind of helps me a little bit because I got like indigestion issues. So it
Yeah.
kind of helps me regulate when I need to stop eating. and when I can eat again. So it kind of stops me from eating too late because I'll cut it off at like 8, 9 o'clock and I won't eat. And it'll help
Right.
me, you know what I mean, for my digestive system and everything like this. So it's been going well, bro. It's been every day since the last time we talked, and even before that. I think when we talked the last podcast, I think I was on like day 4 or 5, and it's just been consistent that whole time. So I'm probably on like day 15 or something like that now.
Word, you're halfway there. Halfway there. You said you was doing it
Yeah,
for
bro.
our month, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to do at least 30 days. I might make it. I'm trying to make it more habitual, but I need to get back on reading my Bible and growing that personal relationship with Christ. That was the main goal of it. But this side of it, helping with my mental health and my wellness as well with my health, is actually beneficial for me as well.
Dope, man. Dope, dope, dope. Well, listen, what we got for him for episode 20, man.
20,
Episode
20 in
20.
the book. 20 in the book. All right, so we have a good episode for everybody, listeners that are listening in, watching. So the video we have today, we're gonna discuss 4 different topics, right? We're gonna discuss P. Diddy. Now we covered him in the past. We're gonna cover him now. There was a video that came out of him allegedly, I'm gonna use allegedly assaulting Cassie in a hotel. We're gonna talk about that video. We're gonna talk about his apology afterwards. So he apologized like a day or two later about how the impact of his apology was, and how we feel about it. Then we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna pivot. We're gonna switch into talking about tipping culture. And I know a lot of you probably don't know, but in the recent, I want to say in the last 4 to 5 years, tipping in this country has been something that's been a little bit kind of crazy, because now you have to tip at places like Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, anywhere where it's like you're just coming in to pick up your food. You're not really sitting and dining and eating. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss as well. And then lastly, we're going to talk about, it's finally been settled, Biden versus Trump debate. Trump versus Biden debate. The next one's happening next month. How we feel about it, where we're at, where our allegiance lies, and what we're kind of going to expect from that debate. So we're going to get right into it. So the Diddy video. So I want to say back in 2016, this alleged assault happened. And in the video, you can clearly see Diddy, Cassie's not running out. She's walking out, hoodie on, bag in her hand, trying to walk out of the hotel. Diddy runs out of his room, runs through a hallway in a towel, holding the towel very tightly. Runs, sees Cassie, throws her on the ground. One hand throws her on the ground. Then you can see him putting his foot in her face, kicking her on the ground, throwing things on her on the ground. And then you can see him literally dragging her like a rag doll back into the room, back into the hotel. And there's later videos that show him yelling, screaming at her, throwing things at her. And once again, this is all alleged things, because he wasn't arrested for this. He hasn't been convicted of it. We just had the video of it, but it's alleged that these things happen. So, Chris, let me get your thoughts, brother.
I'm gonna take my shades off for this topic, man,
Yes,
because it's a heavy topic, and I do want to take it serious. Actually, I don't. I would like to, you know, actually hear your thoughts first, if you don't mind. Truth
Oh
be
yeah.
told, because I don't, you know, like I said, I want to take this super serious, and so I know I have like strong emotions about it, but I would love to hear what you thought about it when you saw it.
I think when I seen the video, I was disgusted. It was deplorable. It was something that I just couldn't unsee. And it was something where you have a dude, high influence, billionaire, saying time after time again that these allegations are fake. I would never do something like this. The truth is going to come out, saying all these things, right? But then, like, he settles with Cassie a day later with the settlement, $35 million. But then this video comes out. So this video shows him doing these things, and it's just like, wow. If he lied about doing this, can we only imagine what things he has done that haven't been videotaped, haven't been brought to light? Like, your mind can kind of deduce millions and millions of things, right? So I think with Diddy, he deserves everything that's coming to him. Now, I will say this: people will say, "Oh, well, he didn't say Cassie's name." Oh, we'll talk about the apology video. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, I was disgusted, bro. I was disgusted, and I feel like he's a person that every negative thing that's gonna come to him needs to come to him 100 times fold, because it's at this point where this guy is getting away with doing deplorable things to individuals and using his power and authority to get away with it. Now, what people don't know, and I'll say this one thing and I'll pass it to you, the reason why the video was not released is because he paid the hotel $50,000 to not release the video, to confiscate it. And the reason why it was released because the feds got it, they picked it up, and somebody allegedly leaked the video. So that's how they got it. That's the only reason the video came about. It would have never came out of light if the feds weren't able to raid his homes, get the videos, somebody in the FBI or wherever leaked the video, and then here's how we come into possession of it. So I'll let you go.
Appreciate that for sure. And I second every single thing that you said. The video was super triggering, in so many different ways. And we don't know this dude. We don't know him from a can of paint. Obviously, we don't. We it would running into him, running across him would be like a once in a lifetime type of thing. But
Right.
to see and to witness, um, somebody who is almost twice this person's age, so there's already that
Mhm.
factor of it that um you could be you could be this person's you could be this person's parent, and this is how you're behaving, on top of the fact that there was no there was no sense of thought or no sense of like just like time being taken or just thoroughly thinking through anything as opposed to just instantly acting.
Right.
It was extremely disturbing, extremely triggering. Um, it was hard to watch, and it instantly, as like you in these situations when somebody makes allegations against you, you obviously like I don't think that it's fair or right to like question somebody or um bash somebody in terms of their character just
Right.
because they make an allegation against somebody that for whatever reason may seem so beyond the realm of what you think this person is capable of. But when you actually take the time out to think like why would somebody just accuse somebody of this particular thing and to just chalk it up to just simply being about money, like to me that doesn't make the most sense. And so like clearly we didn't as a public, like as the public, we didn't give this woman enough actual support in terms of what
Right.
she had alleged about this individual. And so now it takes for us to have to see it
You
and
see it.
witness it just to actually like corroborate or like actually validate what it is that she had been saying,
Right.
you know? And so like it was horrific, man. I felt like terrible for her as a woman, especially like as a man. Like we all have women in our lives. Like we
Absolutely.
all have a mom. We all have s- sisters and cousins, and you was just talking about your cousin and your with nieces, you know what I'm saying, and daughters obviously, right? Like,
Yep. Yep.
and so like to think that like to think that this I mean we know that domestic violence is a thing. Like I've been in situations personally, and I haven't always handled myself I haven't always handled myself how I would ideally like to as a man. I can be honest and say that. But to to consciously like just go out there and with no care, no thought whatsoever, just complete reckless abandon with as many cameras in the world watching you and nothing but a towel and socks, go out, chase behind this young lady, drag her down by her neck, and then not just stop there, but then proceed to continue to assault her,
Yep.
to to kick her like she's a man,
Yep.
to to do her like we would do another man on the
Yep.
street. You putting your hands on her like she your size,
Mm-hmm.
and then still dragging her back to the room. Lord only knows whatever took place behind that door. So I
Yep.
know we gotta say alleged, right? We
Yeah.
gotta say alleged because, you know, for legality purposes and all that stuff. But let's be serious. You know what I mean? Like let's be for real. So it's like I said, it's super triggering, man. Like I said, it takes me back to times where I've been involved in toxic situations and made me have to self reflect on how I handled myself in those situations because
Yep.
you 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 just never ever ever want to find yourself in that predicament where you have to look at yourself as a man and question who you are as a man. It's no way I don't know that man. I don't know Diddy from a can of paint, but I can't imagine how he looks himself in the mirror as a man, knowing that that's how you are treating women, treating females. And I mean, if that's how you doing, if that I watched that video and I said, man, that ain't the first time he didn't hit that girl.
No.
Like that ain't the first time he put his hands on that girl. That ain't the first
Yeah.
time he assaulted that girl. And so I I was shocked, man. I was shocked. You know, like I literally was at a loss for words because I could like I the allegations were one thing, and I'm guilty of not, like I said, giving more empathy to this young lady when this stuff came out. But the allegations was one thing, but to actually witness and have to watch like it actually unfold and take place, and then like you said, for him to had previously gone out his way to say that everything that was alleged against him was false.
Mm-hmm.
He went out his way to do that. He went out of his way to make it known that time will reveal all, insinuating that he had done nothing wrong.
Yep.
Only for a week or whatever later, 2 weeks, three, whatever it is later, for you to have to literally look yourself and the world in the face and acknowledge that you a despicable dude, and you behaved in a very reckless and very like pathetic manner. So
Mm-hmm.
I ain't mean to be all long winded, man, but like that one, I sat on it, especially when because I figured we was gonna have to talk about it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, like I hate that we even had to. Like it was probably the one time where I genuinely wasn't looking forward to having that talk because I'm just like, it's and again, I don't know him from a can of we don't know Diddy, like we never would know Diddy, but like just still like it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody, and you watch that and you just like disgusting, disgusting. So yeah, man.
Yeah. It was. It's like you said, man. Like with the when the allegations came out with the lawsuit, like the stuff that was said in it was just like, whoa, no, ain't no way this was like actually happening. So it kind of this video gives credence to like everything she said being truthful. Everything she said and mentioned did happen because if this thing happened and like you said in the video, it looked like he done this before. We can give a little credence to what she alleged with all the other things that may or may not have happened. We can give it a little benefit, but let's pivot because he did apologize, and I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. I can play the video. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
All right, let's see if I can play it. Come on, come on.
To make 6 jets fly as one. When you're flying 12 inches apart, everybody's lives are in each other's hands. That's the Blue Angel magic.
Sean Diddy Combs is apologizing, saying he's truly sorry. It comes 2 days after CNN released exclusive video showing him beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, inside a hotel in 2016. CNN's Veronica Miracle is joining us now. And Veronica, walk us through the video and now this apology he's put out.
Yeah, Jessica, the video is heartbreaking, elating that Sean Combs has even acknowledged this event.
Sometimes you got to do that.
He's finally now posted an apology video on Instagram. Take a listen to what he has to say.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Cassie Ventura's team, they put out
All right, so yeah, so that's the apology video, right? So, I mean, how you feel about that?
Um, I know you was making the point earlier about him not saying her name in the apology. It would have I mean, maybe it makes a difference, maybe it doesn't. And I know I think you were going to say that like legally he's not allowed
Yeah,
to.
legally he can't say her
Yeah.
name.
They can't say each other's name for the record, but um regardless of the fact, it still was first and foremost too little too late. You are, like I mentioned, like we said, you already went out your way to try and say that these things weren't true, only to be forced to now have to apologize because your actions were broadcast for the world to see. Um, had you not been exposed in this manner, had this video not surfaced, where would the accountability have been publicly? There would not have been any. It would have just been repeated denials, repeated denials, repeated denials. And I get that, like, for like maybe criminal circumstances, you have to proclaim your innocence, right? Because like, but that's not what we're talking about, man. We're talking about accountability for. We're talking about actual accountability for what took place in that video,
Right.
and you jumping on Instagram to record yourself about how that was the and I listen, we've all been in dark times. Obviously there's probably I mean, he mentioned rehab, so clearly there's some substance abuse going on there as well. And so like I I completely understand going through dark times and maybe not being in a not being in a clear state of mind because of the fact that you're just under the influence. You're in a cloud. You in a cloud all day every day. It still will never justify. It still will never justify those actions. And so, yeah, he didn't say nothing that's not true. It is hard to reflect on your dark times,
Right.
and sometimes you do have to do that. But I don't think that he would have had. I don't think that that rings true for what he was actually living. I don't think like that rings true for like saying that you've been going to therapy, man. I mean, if that were the case, wouldn't there have been accountability for all of this stuff before you got caught up?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't there have been some sort of actual work done before the world got to see you for who you really were or really are? Excuse me. So it's like it's super disingenuous. Um super disingenuous. It's not sincere whatsoever. Um I don't I don't want to say not sincere whatsoever because maybe he do really feel bad, but it's only feeling bad because you got caught. Like, and then in that sense, that's where I really feel like it's just super insensitive. It I don't get what was supposed to be accomplished behind that. What he thought that he was doing by even putting that video out. Like what's the thought process behind that? Like what do you how does that help you in this situation? Who did you even talk to anybody about this before you did this?
Right.
Like, what's your thoughts, man? Like, cause
Man,
man, I'm go ahead, bro.
I think I agree with you, man. Like, a little too late. Why didn't you seek help prior to this? Like, if you knew you had an issue with beating on women allegedly and doing all these things and abusing substances, why now are you seeking help? Why wasn't it before? Why wasn't it, during that time? And let's put it in perspective. And let's also add this. Diddy has two daughters. He has two daughters. Well, probably three. I think he has three daughters. One set of twins and a one he just had a baby girl he just had not so long ago. Like, look at the example you're setting. And like you said, who did he? Who was he apologizing for? Clearly his fans. Clearly his fans, his stakeholders. He's not apologizing to the victims. He's apologizing for his benefit. Now this is just me assuming. But and that video, I don't think he contacted his PR team. I think that was just him doing it off the cuff, like, all right, I gotta say something. And irregardless, like we said, he wasn't able to say her name or the kids would be like I think I would have respected it more. I wouldn't have cared for a video. I think a detailed statement or something like that I probably would have appreciated a lot more because the video is just kind of like yeah, it's inexcusable what I did. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah 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 blah. You're saying you're in all these things, but okay. A couple weeks ago, you probably weren't in these things. You was riding a bike around Miami. You wasn't in any of these places.
In clubs,
And
partying.
doing all this stuff. So actions, like they always say, actions speak louder than words. So what are your actions from here on out? What are you going to do and I could see it happening, He's going to take some money, donate it to a domestic violence awareness or donate it to this, donate it to that. That's just how the game is. Like, how does he get back in good graces with all? Because it's like, another lawsuit just came out again for him assaulting somebody in 2003. So it's kind of like
Yeah, I
it's
seen it.
not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop until he is bled dry, and he's gonna reap all the evil that he's done in the past. Simple as that. So yeah, I think like I said, I think the apology was something he did off the cuff. Was the apology disingenuous? I mean, I don't think it was, but I think it was just the wrong move on his part. And I just don't think it had enough oomph in it to kind of be like, oh wow, he really is like apologetic. He really is remorseful. He really did mess up. I think it was just something he did, and he thought it was gonna do something. I don't think it did anything. I think it just made the situation worse.
For sure. Now, I did want to ask you. They did this big raid on his house. They did this big raid on his properties,
Right,
right? A whole bunch of different agencies involved in doing the raid. Can only imagine the amount of money and resources that was pulled in to have to
right,
execute these raids. And clearly the goal isn't just to leak out a video showing that he assaulted a woman 8 years ago, right?
right.
So like where the like what ultimately do you think is happening next here? Because they can't just do
No,
all that and just tarnish his reputation and
no,
that be the end of it.
the reason for the warrant is you have enough evidence to so you're building a case, you're investigating him for something. Well, I don't know what they're investigating him for. Now, you need enough evidence to go in front of a judge and say, hey, I need a warrant for X, Y, and Z. The warrant, then you go and you collect that more evidence, right? So then it depends on what evidence you've collected and how much evidence there is to go with the charges that you're trying to charge him for. Now, I
Right.
don't know what they're trying to get him for. Nobody knows because this was a civil lawsuit. This wasn't a criminal lawsuit.
Yeah.
The Cassie lawsuit was a civil one. The Little Rod one that he got going on right now, that's a civil one. None of these are criminal lawsuits, so they're not in criminal court. These are all civil lawsuits, right?
Yeah.
So what are they looking for? I have no idea. I mean, he may be getting charged for something totally different. We don't know. We don't know because it's an open case. So we're not going to know any information unless the media tells us or like again, like some information gets leaked. We're not going to know. So right
Right.
now, I think they're just trying to build up as much information as possible, either to have Mr. Combs be somebody they're going to charge with a crime or have him be somebody where we're going to use you to facilitate us arresting the bigger fish, whether that's um, head of record companies, whether that's other billionaires, whether that's other millionaires, whoever it may be. I don't
Right.
know, but either they're going to flip him or he's going to be somebody that's going to be charged with a crime. So we just got to wait and see.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah. At some point, I do think that something criminally is going to come up from it, though. Just
Oh yeah,
because
100%.
I don't think that all of this is going on, and the most that comes out of it is a leaked video. But
Right.
neither here nor there. Nonetheless, it still was just it was a bad move. Like with the apology video, I think we
Yeah.
both agree there as well. So
It wasn't the smartest move. But enough about Diddy and his salacious, scandalous, nonsensical,
prayers to
disgusting,
Cassie.
deplorable.
My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, deplorable behavior. Once again, prayers and love go to Cassie because she's dealing with all this trauma and her family as well. Not even just her family, because they have to relive seeing their beloved family member being dragged across and beaten and all that, knowing damn well they never sent her daughter to be with somebody that was doing this type of behavior. Me and Chris talked about domestic violence. Like once again, domestic violence is serious. We don't joke around with that type of stuff. I encourage every man and female, if you're in a relationship and they start emotionally abusing you, physically abusing you, sexually abusing you, whatever type of abuse, please get out of the relationship. I know it's hard. I know it's tough. I know there's a lot of feelings and emotions, but the quicker you get out of the relationship, the easier it is. The more evidence you have, the more the police are called, the better the case you have. Okay, that's like the best advice I can give you because I did, on the law enforcement side, working in probation, I've seen it where individuals I've known that have had individuals on their caseload that were involved in domestic violence. It's a very hard cycle to break. It's like you're addicted to a drug where it's like, okay, I'll stop it now, but then you go back for it again, or I'll go cold turkey, but then you're calling this person again. Oh, they're not allowed to see me, but then I go back to them again. It's a continuous cycle. So please get help. Get help. Break away from those relationships if you're involved in them. But moving on. So now we're gonna go into a lighter topic. We're gonna talk about tipping culture. So a lot of topics of conversation have been coming up around tipping culture, and what's necessarily a good tip, what's necessarily a bad tip. Should we be tipping individuals when we go to a drive-through and we order a large cup of coffee from Starbucks, or we get a large cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, or wherever we're going to the local coffee shop and we get some coffee, or we get a breakfast sandwich? Should we be tipping if we're just going in there and you're handing me my food, I'm paying for it? Should I tip that individual? That's something I should be doing. I'm here to tell you, I look at it like this. I'm not that wealthy. I'm not that far off. So I don't know if I can waste my money and tip you 15, 20% for just handing me my food. Now, you made it. That's your job. You get paid to make food. For you to just bring it to me, or for me to just pick it up at the front counter and the thing that says 5, 10, 15, 20%, and you want me to click something, no, I don't like it. And then it make you feel bad. Like, oh, like you go into Starbucks, they'll be like, they're gonna tell you something here. You can click it if you want, and it's just like, would you like the tip? And it will be a 10 or 20%. You're like, what? No, dude, I'm just picking up my coffee. So I don't know, Chris. What's your take on that, man?
So let me, because I have a take, but let me just ask you, like, in that instance with the Starbucks thing, I get that, you just going to pick up the drink, but I
Yes,
guess just to play like devil's advocate, like, you don't think that maybe the tip would be going towards the person who made the good drink?
they get paid for that though. They already get paid. They already get a pay. They get paid per hour for it to do that. That's their job.
So
Uh,
you
uh,
don't my
no,
bad.
go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say, so you don't feel like um uh a a very good drink is deserving of a tip on top of what you already
So,
get paid,
so that's
basically.
different. Now you're moving the goalpost.
How?
No, I don't know if it's a good drink yet. I haven't even
True.
taken my drink. This is
That's
before.
fair. That's fair.
You know
That
what I
is
mean?
fair.
So it's different if I'm at the restaurant and I'm sitting in Starbucks, order my coffee, they call it out, I drink. Oh my god, who made this? I'm like, oh, there's a tip jar. I put $2 in it, $3 in there. That's totally different because I'm doing it off the strength of that was good service. I got my coffee. Now I haven't even gotten the drink yet. I don't even know what it tastes like. You're asking me to already tip for it. Now that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? I don't agree with that at all. And
I
that's
mean,
just something that's within the last couple of years we've seen that. Where before, if we go back 10 years ago, when we was a little younger,
yeah.
I never remember going to a Starbucks or going to a Dunkin' and they asked me to tip them money. They used to have a little jar.
Yeah.
They would have a little jar like, oh, you could put some money in here, but it's never was on the computer screen. You gotta tip 10%. That's usually at restaurants. Where restaurants, that's totally different because they're serving your food. They're bringing you food. They're coming to check on you. That's different than a small coffee shop. I'm just walking in there picking up a cup of coffee and it's like, oh yeah, you want to tip 20% for what? What did you do? Why? But
Nah, I do agree with you though. Like, I don't disagree. Like I said, just playing devil's advocate, because I mean, realistically, I think that you have to, when it comes down to service, you have to be providing me a service in order to earn a tip,
right,
and the tip does have to be earned. Like, I don't you don't just get a tip for showing up. Like, that's what the employer is supposed to be paying you for. Now,
yeah,
obviously, certain in certain um in certain lines of work, they may be more tip dependent as opposed to other lines
right,
of work, like, restaurants, for example, like you just mentioned. um but, for the other example, in terms of places like Starbucks, I'm personally not going to tip, or
right,
anywhere else for that matter, where um you know the level of service that you were provided was, like, was also, like, in the job description
right,
when when you got the job.
and don't get it twisted. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never tipped before at those places. I have. I've done it where I've gone to a place where I've gotten sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches before, and it's always good. Like it's never bad. And I'll add extra dollar to that. Or even at Starbucks, it might be It might, I don't know. It might just be the way the person's taking my order. If they're nice and all that, I may put $1 on there. I may put a
Yeah.
$2. I've done it, but I'm not doing it again.
I mean,
I'm done. I'm done.
I that's the thing. If because in those instances, if you can go if you can find a way for me to identify you or or me to excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied.
You
If
good,
you
bro?
can find a way to separate yourself from what I would consider to be the expected level of service, then in that instance, I got no problem tipping because then I feel like you've earned your tip. But like when it comes just straight up down to like um being required to tip, and then even in some other places like when you go when I don't know because I, I even have a problem sometimes with tips being like included in my bill sometimes. Like I
Yeah,
don't even like that most of the time. I mean I get it in some instances, but to me again, that feels like you're requiring me to tip without me having received the service yet to know whether
yep,
or not the
yep,
service is worthy of a certain
yeah.
level of tip or not. And
I
so
agree with you there.
I'm not even a fan of that in that instance. And so like I have no problem with tipping though, like you said, for the record. Like I I'm I consider myself to be a generous tipper when it is
Mhm.
like appropriate to tip.
That's
You tip
great.
you tip when literally when the service that's provided is exceeding expectation, or when that
Mhm.
that service provider goes above and beyond, or they just they brighten you in any way that they find a way to make themselves stand out. You should tip in that circumstance. But like the mandating of it, or like the requiring of it without having to actually get the service first, like I don't really understand it. I think it's like I don't know, because I I'm hoping that money actually goes to the employee, right? Like, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the restaurant getting over, or like like I just don't get it.
No, I agree with you, bro. And it's like I compare it to children, right? Like, I got 2 kids, so
Mm,
now it's like if my child is good
mm-hmm.
and they were good at school today, they ain't do nothing. Well, that's not what they're supposed to do. But if my child
True.
is good and he helps with being a good helper at school, or he does like he puts the toys away, um uh put more toys away than the other kids, or he's helping the teacher do other things that he's not supposed to do, but he does it, then he gets the reward, then he gets cookies.
Right.
But if he does the normal, why would I reward normal? That's normal behavior. Same thing. If you just bring me my coffee, I'm expected for you to do that. But if you bring me my coffee and you come over and you say, "Is there anything else I can get you?" What's your name? How's your day going? You remind me of X, Y, and Z. You know what? I'm gonna go check in the back to see if they got X, Y, and Z for you. I'll bring it right back to you. Don't worry about it, and I'll check on you in 2 minutes. That's good, great service.
Yeah.
That's service where it's like I'm unexpected because they'll come and say hello and then never come back. But if you continue to come back, check on me, that's great. I'm gonna be like, oh wow, this lady checked on me. This dude checked on me. I'm gonna bless them with an extra $5. That's above and beyond service. But if you're gonna meet me with medium standard service, or minimum expectation service, you're gonna get minimum expectation money, however much that costs. It's simple as that.
Man, that's why I had to play devil's advocate, because I had a feeling we was probably gonna be in lockstep on it. Because
Yeah,
like,
bro.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for the tipping. I've worked in service, like customer service, or like just restaurants and things of that. Like I've had those jobs before, and you know it does feel good when you get a tip. Like it does feel good when you get a tip, and it does genuinely make a difference. Like you do actually need to get those tips. So I always see it from both sides. But in seeing it from both sides, I always understood that I had to provide a certain level of service if I was going to get that
Absolutely.
certain amount of money. And so, I think people, I don't know, like I think sometimes it's just a for whatever for whatever reason, a sense of entitlement towards a tip, and like with no actual intention of
Yep.
earning it or or really valuing it. Because if you valued it, then you would go out, then you would actually do what you need to do to ensure that you would get it every time.
Yep. hundred
But
percent. And that's what we're dealing with. But you know, like you said earlier, brother, we both in agreement on this one. We only tip when it's above and beyond service, which should be expected. But I will say this: if you're working in a service industry and tips are your main source of income, but you're just not getting the tips you want, then move out of that industry. Go work somewhere else. We live in America. You can go work at another job where you don't have to deal with that. I have to do X, Y, and Z to get this amount of money. You can go work somewhere else. So,
Word.
we don't. It doesn't have to be where we have to raise the money of how much people making, like put minimum wage to $30 an hour. That's not $20 an hour. That's not even feasible for the country. Just go work somewhere else. That's it. Go work somewhere else. Go back to school. There's so many things you can do if you live in America. So just pointing that out there. But on to our last topic. Now we're into politics now. Dun, 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 dun. Biden versus Trump debate. Now, this is something that we've seen already. We've heard it already in the past. We've seen it already in the past. But it's going to be happening now because these are the two candidates. One for the Democrat side, which is President Biden, who's the incumbent. And then you have former President Trump on the Republican ticket. So they're going to be debating each other soon. Chris?
June 27th for the first debate, to be exact.
Wow,
Yep.
I'm definitely going to be. I'm going to have my popcorn. I'll be ready.
What was you gonna say?
I said, what's your take on it, brother?
Oh, so I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what each candidate has to say. I think they throw their jabs at each other whenever they get a chance. So, the fact that they have agreed to debate so early before I think before like we've officially started like the actual like race, or before either has officially been declared as the representative for their party. Like I think that still hasn't happened yet. So for the fact that they've already agreed to um kind of get things started already is exciting for the country, because like it'll give people an early opportunity to hear what both parties have to say and what each candidate has to offer. And um what I'm most I mean, we was just having a conversation amongst our friends the other day about this, to a degree, not
Yes,
necessarily
we
about
were.
the
Yes,
debate,
we
but
were.
just about the upcoming race and stuff. And I'm really like excited to hear what Biden and what Trump envision in terms of our foreign policy spending, how we're spending money abroad.
Mm.
Um, More specifically, well, both of them. Truth be told, I would love to know, hear where Trump is at with that, because I haven't been as tapped in as I should be with what his current stance is or how he plans to remedy that. But also Biden as well, because it's for citizens who see how much we spend in terms of supporting our allies. I know it does become frustrating and annoying to see how much money goes out, as opposed to where that money could be spent within the United States for our country. So I am interested to hear that. I'm also interested to hear about um I'm excited to hear Biden in a debate space, because I think a lot is said about um his mental health, or his physical and mental health, and his capability as a president. I think that Trump has shown that he's still pretty sharp, and so I think it's going to be important to hear how he can handle himself in a public forum, in a back to back or yeah, in a one-on-one with somebody who's going to challenge you, that you're going to have to be able to stand on points and express why it's going to benefit this country, or why people should want to give you a second term based on what they've seen in his first term. So I think Biden has a lot that he's going to have to address, but um, we shall be there soon. And I know you got a lot that you're going to be looking forward to hearing during this debate.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward. I'm definitely looking forward to finally seeing Biden actually being questioned, actually getting hard questions to answer and really address, the current state and stature of this country that we love so much. I also want to hear Trump and see how Trump is when it comes to answering certain questions on how he plans to effectively roll out his deportation plan to deport over 10, 15 million immigrants. How does that look? How does that function? How much money is that going to cost? What is his plans for Russia, Ukraine, the China relationship? What's his plan with Israel? Now we have Iran. The president died. The president
Yeah,
of Iran is just died in a helicopter crash. Him,
yeah.
the president, and the prime minister. So it's kind of like there's a lot of things on the debate stage that I can't wait to see what the questions are going to be and who's going to be the moderator to see how they're going to allow these questions to be answered. Now,
I think the first debate is on CNN too, so it's
yeah,
definitely going to be a CNN host.
so I'm not,
It'll
I'm
probably
not,
be Tepper.
yeah, probably. I'm not the biggest Biden guy, at all. Like 100% no to Biden. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican, so I don't really dabble on that side. But I'm always open minded when it comes to these type of things. So I'm waiting to see. I mean, Biden. I like the stuff he's doing with HBCUs. That's cool. That's great and all. Put more money back into the historically black colleges and universities. I do like that aspect. But
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
pretty much the only thing I can say that I like that he's done. Forgiving student loan debt. I mean, yeah, but at what cost? What did that cause? What did that cost
It
us? How
all
much?
has a cost.
Yeah, like like what was the positive effect of doing that? It didn't help me. I still got student loans, so it helped the individuals that went to those rinky-dink, ticky-tack schools. Beauty cosmetology school, DeVry University, ICTC, like those schools where, bro, why'd you even go there? Like, why would you even go to that type of school? You know what I mean?
Right.
You didn't go to a college or university. You went to some stuff on freaking TV.
Online school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like,
Same joint Lil
it's
Romeo
great.
went to.
You help those individuals, but I'm considered middle class. I'm considered the individual that's, the 99%, you know what I mean, above the poverty line, but still struggling. We should be the first one. I work in public service. We should be the first one getting that check for student loans, but no, that didn't happen. So I was kind of upset about that with Biden because I don't think there was a lot of parameters set on who gets it, who doesn't. Like, yeah, you helped
Yeah,
out the
it was
individuals.
just a headline.
Yeah, you helped out the individuals that went to those rinky-dink schools. What about me? The individuals that paid their student loans, still paying them,
Still paying them.
still paying the student loans, still going to school, still not going to school, working in public service and everything like that. My stuff should be forgiven automatically. Where is the help for these individuals? And that's the problem I had when we were rolling out this plan because I didn't like how he rolled it out. The one thing I did like was, the parole program, right? Because I'm of Haitian descent. I have family in Haiti. I did like that with Biden, how he rolled out the parole program. It wasn't as clear as everybody thought it was. I didn't like that part. It was a long waiting process. There was no estimation on how long things would be, but thankfully, by the grace of God, I was able to get my cousin here and my sister here. So that I will thank Biden for, because that was something that if they didn't go through the Biden parole program, they had to go try to get a visa. That'd take about 5 to 7 years, depending upon the process, because it does take a long time for somebody to get a visa to come here. So I will thank him on that. But with that, you have this whole immigrant problem.
Yeah.
Like if I would have known, if my family would have known, oh yeah, you can come here illegally and you get more benefits than individuals that's been waiting to come in this country. I should have told them to come here illegally.
You wouldn't have did that, man. Stop.
I wouldn't have did it, but I'm just saying, bro. It just like people come to this country illegally, get like an absurd amount of benefits, and it's just like, how is this possible? Then you have people that came to this country legally, waited, went through the process, and they're getting treated like second class citizens. So that's the thing. But like I said, I am looking forward to this debate. I want to see it. I want to definitely see what Trump's going to bring in his bag. I want to see how he's going to address certain things and what he's going to say.
I can't wait to hear what each of them's plan for inflation too, man, because I know that's something that everybody or a lot of America wants to hear right now is
But
what's the plan for inflation?
but
And
that's the thing with inflation, bro. Like, but Trump's not going to be able to tackle that because he's going to do all the things he's talking about doing. He's going to have to spend money. You cannot come in as a president and not spend money. It doesn't even make sense. You have to spend money. You spend more money, you're going to be in more inflation. You're already coming into an inflationary period. I mean, inflation, then you have a recession, then you have a depression. So the only thing that kind of gets you out of that is a big impact or a big event that changes those things, which is like a war. That's like a number one thing that gets people out of inflation and depressions and things like that is a war. Because once a war happens or some cataclysmic event, money goes to those things, spending becomes regulated, the rates go down, and then boom, everything's back to normal. But something has to happen for that to happen. Now I like Trump's plan with when he was in office last time. We didn't have inflation, spending was pretty much under control, but it's different now. You're coming into a country that's super inflated. You're coming into a country that spending's off the charts. You want to be a president that kind of tackles the debt and lowers it. You don't want to be a president that kind of continues to add to the debt, because we have I think it's like $34 trillion in debt. That's the running debt calculator. It's like the debt calculator is like $34 trillion right now, and it's continuously running. So we got to figure out how to utilize that. There's some countries in the world that have a $1 trillion in debt, a couple $1 billion in debt. Ours is $34 trillion. It's ridiculous.
It's an unfathomable amount. Like, goodness gracious.
So yeah, man. I mean, that's my take on them. I can't wait to see the debate. I can't wait to see what they got have in store. And yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, June 27th, CNN. I could be mistaken on the network, so don't quote me on the network, but June 27th for sure. Another thing, because again, we was having this conversation with our friends, and so I think it is important again just to make sure to remind everybody, make sure you're getting out there and voting.
Yeah, please, man.
This
please.
is that's why it is important that this debate happens soon, because it allows you to get some of this information that you might be unfamiliar with or unsure of now, so that you can make an informed decision. And we both probably get that maybe each candidate isn't ideal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I mean, regardless, exercise your right to go vote. Make sure you know your local polling places, so you know where you have to go vote, and go ahead and get out there. It don't take too long.
Yeah, and don't be that guy. One of our friends, he was like, "Oh, who cares? I'm not voting. I'm not gonna vote. I'm gonna sit this one." And it's just like, as a black person, as a black individual, I look at it like this: like, we didn't have the right to vote in this country when we came here, especially if you're not a black immigrant, but your family was here during slavery times. You didn't have the right to vote when your parents came here. You didn't have the right to vote in the 50s. You only got the right to vote in the 60s. So it's been like 60 years, 60, 70 years. So now you have the right to vote, but you squander the opportunity to vote because you're like, oh, it's not going to mean anything. Well, it does mean a lot. You kind of just look at the ancestors that came before you in this country and say, man, forget all y'all did, what y'all did in the past. I'm not going to vote. You're squandering your opportunity. So please make an informed decision. Even if you don't like Biden or Trump, there's still other candidates. RFK,
Mm-hmm.
he's running as an independent. He has great points. Shoot, I'd vote for him. I wish he was a Republican. I'd vote for him. There's other candidates that you can see and utilize and look at their policies and vote for them. Don't just sit out. Vote for whoever aligns with what you want during these next 4 years. If you want less inflation, if you want better gas prices, vote for this person. If you want someone that's going to be more on, well, we're not going to be able to, we're not going to release vaccines so quickly. We're going to do more research on them. Vote for this person. If you want somebody that's going to be sleeping all the time, going to be mumbling when they talk, got mental health issues, vote for this person. No, I'm just kidding. But someone that is putting money towards HBCUs and, I
You
don't
want
really know.
somebody that's gonna try and overthrow the government if they lose.
I mean, hey, let's not go there.
If you want somebody that's facing almost 100 criminal charges, if listen, man, it's all the same.
Look,
But regardless, it's going to take. It's probably you are going to have to do a little bit of research. Like
yeah,
you
you
are
have
going to
to.
have
You
to.
have to. You have
You
to.
are going to have to look into these. If
Yep.
if you value your right anyway, you probably gonna have to do a little bit of research before we get to that finish line in November.
You have
It
to.
just is what it is, man.
You
Like
have to.
I know it gets old and
Yeah.
sometimes it gets boring or like
Yeah.
just there's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, don't be a sheep, man. Don't vote for somebody because your buddy's voting for that person, or don't vote for somebody because your family's been voting for that person for the last 40 years. Do your own research. Shoot, if that was the case, I'd be a Democrat just like my mother and father were, and they voted for people that didn't align with their interests or didn't align with how they were at home. So no, you do your own research, you figure out what you want to do, who you want to be, and how you want to vote, and you pick that person based upon what you want out of this election. Simple as that.
For sure. And not to counter that, but me personally, if it come down to it, and the only way that you even feel comfortable with voting is by doing the opposite of what Matt just said, and by voting for who your people always vote for, because that's what you know. Do it. Just make sure that you vote. I don't care what you do. I will prefer that you do research and make a decision for yourself.
Make an informed
Like
decision.
I would prefer you make an informed decision for yourself. But if it come down to it and you just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this because this is what my dad always do, or this is what my mom always do. I just want you to vote. I don't even care. I just genuinely want you to vote. But for sure, make an informed decision. Like
Yeah.
do research, but vote regardless. Like
Yes.
I don't even care. Vote off the name if that's what you feel like you got to do. I don't care, but vote. But yeah, my bad, my bad.
You good. You good. You good. But yeah, vote, guys. And you got anything else, bro?
Nah, man. I mean, 20 episodes in, man. How you feeling after 20 episodes,
20,
bro?
20 episodes. It's been tough. Don't get it twisted. Like, Chris and I, our schedules don't always align, and that's all me to blame because I got 2 kids. So, we try to get an episode out every week. We're gonna try to do better at that. I'm gonna do better at that with scheduling and trying to make sure we get this stuff squared away. But 20 episodes, it don't feel like we've done 20 episodes. It definitely doesn't feel like that at all, bro. It's been flowing. I will say that it's been flowing.
Yo, the beauty of this thing, man, is like the beauty of this thing is that this is our platform, you
Yeah,
know. And so when it comes down, I mean, and obviously, I know and Joe, y'all had a podcast before, and
yeah,
shout out to sh- Step Into the Light, Step Up to the Mic
yeah.
podcast,
There you go.
man.
There you go. There
Like
you go.
obviously loved what y'all brothers started because y'all inspired me to want to do a podcast, and I was so grateful that you decided that you wanted to do one with me too, man. But my again, the beauty in this thing is that this is our platform. We get to jump on here and talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about every single time we get on here. We're not constricted to a particular topic or subject or hell, even time frame, man.
Right.
We both got real lives outside of this thing, and we still devote the time and the effort into this thing, and we gonna keep getting better at it. Like you said, like we gonna keep going even more. We're going. I'm going to make sure on my end that I put this joint in different places so that more people get to hear it and see it, and I'm accountable to it as well. And so it's like you said, it's been a rocky road.
Yeah.
We've been pushing through it though, and that's to me what I appreciate is that we can keep pushing through it regardless of what we got going on, and we're gonna keep rocking. We're gonna keep doing what we do. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate everybody checking out the clips and you know all the feedback when we get some feedback. Um, we was on Instagram looking for a guest. We still would entertain that idea. That's
Yeah.
not off the table whatsoever. Like we still want to do that. So if anybody is down for it at any point, man, we would love to have another person to chime in on some of these topics and get another perspective outside of
Yeah.
me and M Dots, you know what I mean? But that's all I got. That's all I got. Shout out to episode 20, man.
2020 down, many more to go. So peace and love to y'all. We out of here. Peace out.